Hey. Welcome to another episode of This Shit's Hard podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Biscuiti.
And I'm Jen, aka Rumblebum. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. It's Monday. We're coming to you from the Miami jungle. This is This Shit's Hard podcast. Welcome.
It's me, Rumblebum, and
Butter and Biscuits.
Biscuiti.
And tell us who we have.
She needs no introduction. She is my friend, sometimes my lover. We have...
Well done.
Kels Kiel.
Welcome to the studio, Kels. We are so happy to have you.
So happy.
Especially coming off of a very active weekend of fitness and not enough sleep. We super appreciate you taking more time with us. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Well, inquiring minds want to know a lot about you.
Yes. So we don't need a bio. We don't really need an introduction. The fitters in the fitting world know who you are, and outside of the fitter world, you know who you are.
The fitters
well.
and non-fitters.
And non-fitters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
Rise to fame.
So in being congruent with This Shit's Hard, we're going to talk about some hard stuff today. We can go through a variety of topics. Where would you like to start? Personal, training,
dating,
eggs.
There's so many topics.
Whatever you guys want to, let's just dive in.
Sure. As a lovely side note, Devin, our producer, is going to jump in whenever. He might jump in, he might not, but...
Probably during the eggs.
Probably during the eggs. Yeah, during the eggs. You know what? Let's just start there.
Yeah, let's start with the eggs.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the eggs.
Kels went through a very, I think, we're proud of you. Because
so proud of you.
Because she went through a process of freezing her eggs.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, because she had to make some tough decisions. You want to talk to us about that?
I feel like it all happened really fast. I'm 31 and single, and there we go.
Coming back to that.
We'll come back to that.
We'll circle back.
Circle back. Don't you worry. We know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. And my mom and my aunt, and I think even my grandmother went through early menopause. And also on top of all that, when I was in middle school, 7th grade, I had like an emergency surgery where I had an ovarian cyst that wouldn't shrink. And it was like ginormous inside me, like strangled my ovary, and I had to have my ovary removed with the cyst. So I only have one ovary. So all of these things, like knowing that my egg reserve is already low because I only have one ovary, and knowing that I'm a year away from where my mom started having signs of early menopause, it's been on my mind that like, what if my body starts being like, hey, you're going to actually go through early menopause. Mm-hmm. And so it's been on my mind the past probably, couple months. And I saw an old teammate of mine. She was a bobsledder. She is a couple of years older than me, but went through the process, and she froze her eggs and she put it on social media. And I felt like I saw her post that probably in September. And I was like, damn, that's kind of like another sign to like look into this, because I had thought about it before, all these things, but never actually took the step to like see what would happen and like see what I needed to do. So I saw her post and I asked her a few questions, and knowing the cost of it, I was like hesitant to keep going like forward with the steps for it. But I contacted a clinic in Philadelphia and went in and asked, or I had a telehealth first and just asked a bunch of questions, and I was chatting with her, the doctor, about it, and I let her know that like I am an athlete full time, and I know that this does take, there's like time that you cannot be doing physical activity. So like fitting that into my season somewhere, like in my head, I was like, okay, it's already almost October. The season starts in February. maybe should we wait till next August to do it? I was thinking about all these things, but then I'm like, next August I'll be 32. Just like all these things are going through my mind. And so I went in and I had like did a bunch of blood tests, ultrasound, and all of it has to line up with like your cycle and like where you are with your period and all of that. So I had to go in. I went on like day 4 of my period and they did an ultrasound, and obviously I only have the one ovary, and I'm in the office by myself with her, and she's like, okay, yeah, we should probably get on this, because she saw 5 follicles on my left ovary, and she saw 6, I think. She said, we want numbers in the teens typically when you see follicles. Yeah. And that's like adding both ovaries together, what you see, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Shit.
And she said, like, we might have to do this egg freezing thing more than once. So that's like already like, okay, that's going to be more money and more time off, like all those things. But I didn't even really have time to like shop around clinics, because everyone says like shop around, like different clinics charge different things. There's different costs for all like the drugs and the meds that you use. And like you can make it relatively like affordable, quote unquote. Depends on the person. Mm-hmm. But so I spoke with her, I guess, a couple days after I had that ultrasound, and we just started like because you also have to time it with, like I said, with your period and your cycle. So I, was going through the process of just chatting and having these telehealth appointments and like getting blood work back. It took like a week to get the first test they do is your AMH, I think is what it's called, and it's like your egg reserve. And she's like, yeah, it's a little bit lower than we would want, obviously. And then everything happened like really fast. I was meant to get my period. My app was like, hey, your period's in 6 days. And you call the clinic on day 1 of your period, because you have to go in the next day for like blood work, ultrasound. And my period came like 4 days early.
Of course.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So not only did I have 4 days less to like figure out how to get my finances in order and like mentally wrap my brain around it, I was like, hey, got my period. And she's like, all right, can you come in 7:15 in the morning tomorrow morning?
Damn.
And so I went in and they did the blood work and ultrasound. And it's, if people don't know, it's the beginning stage of IVF. So it's like everything that a woman is like, if they're trying to conceive through IVF, we're doing the same thing. It's just obviously you're freezing the eggs, you're not harvesting them. So I went in and they said, everything looks good. You can start the drugs tonight. And luckily the medication had gotten to my house the day that it needed to, because I had to start that night. And like I said, it's like IVF. So I, grab it. It's injecting yourself. Had to do the first one that first night. And then it was like the next morning, and then the next night. And then it was about 11 days of injections. Mm. And then you go in on like ended up being like the 12th day or whatever for the actual retrieval.
Go eggs, go.
Ooh, eggs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually went in that next day, because they checked the follicles or whatever. And it was like that first time I was like really bummed out in the room. Like, damn, there's only 6 follicles. Like might be harder than I thought, like all of that. And they did the ultrasound that when we were actually getting started, and she's like, wow, we picked the right cycle, because she saw like 14 follicles on the one ovary, which was like obviously a huge improvement. And then you just like keep putting those drugs in your body to try to grow your follicles. I was able to keep working out. You go in every other day for an appointment. So each time I went in, the doctor like would check the size of everything and tell me like, yeah, you're good to keep working out, or like, no, you should probably dial back it a little bit. So they were very like working. They knew what I was doing, and working with me was really great. How much they did work with me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how the whole process started.
So before you decided to do this, did you know that you wanted children, or you were unsure if you ever wanted children?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That was also my question.
Yeah, so I feel like I still don't even really know if I want kids. I'm at a place in my life where I feel like what I'm doing for my like career with the fits is very selfish. Like I don't want kids right now. Like
But that's not selfish.
But like in a way, the sport like you have to be able like I'm gonna go to bed at 9. Like don't just things in order to be successful in the sport. And my fear was that like chasing this dream of mine and like doing what I'm doing, my body would then like if I in a couple of years I'm like ready to settle down and start a family, that I was worried that my body would be like, sorry, you're following your mom's path here, and you can't have kids now. So I kind of thought of it a little bit like an insurance plan, a little bit like if I want, and I can still have children naturally.
Sure.
But this is just kind of like
precautionary.
Yeah, like in the future, if that's what I want to do. And I almost feel like it was kind of like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because a big part of me, I think, was, circling back to being single, like, oh my gosh, I have to find my person, I have to settle down, and I have
much pressure.
Yeah.
On women especially, more so on women.
Yeah.
Right. So did this kind of make you think about it for the first time? Like think about yourself as potentially a mom?
No. Not the first time that I thought about it. But it was the thinking, because I was in a relationship where I felt pressure to like settle down and maybe start a family and all of that kind of thing. And that pressure, like, it was just so overwhelming. And I was ignoring that gut feeling that was like, that person's not the one.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I should be happy, and I should be like following this path, because for whatever reason I
society.
Thought like all the different pressures. And even though I kept ignoring that voice, I was like, this ain't it.
I mean, that's very brave of you. It's hard, especially, in today's society where you feel like, Kels and I and Nicole have been friends for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But especially Kels we are twos, if anyone knows the Enneagram.
Devin, do you know what Enneagram number you are?
Okay, we'll have to fill you in later, and we'll make you take the test.
Yeah,
You're taking the test.
You're taking the test at
Yes.
lunch.
Very excited.
Yes, Kels and I are too. So we are also very much like people pleasers and
empathetic.
And yes, want people to be happy. So it's very what Kels is saying. I resonate with as well.
They think about others before themselves.
And so doing what you've done is very brave, and it's very brave for other women, not only in the sport, but outside of the sport. And what you're saying, like, to get out of a relationship when you think that you should be happy because everything seems to be falling in place, but you're not listening to your gut, and you listen to your gut. And it's a very hard thing to do, very hard to get out of something when it's not toxic. Or it's fine.
Right.
So why do I have this weird feeling that I shouldn't be here? Most people don't leave. So it's very brave of you, and an example, I think, to others of that it's okay to listen to what you want.
Yeah. Which I think people get, like you just said, like, it's fine. This person treats me amazing.
Yes.
Like, I should be good.
And you
with
start
them.
checking the boxes. Yeah.
But then there's that like little voice.
Yeah.
It's okay to want more, and I think that earlier we were speaking about women in particular, about how we're basically taking over the world, and we're gonna change the way society lives in this world.
Yeah.
And part of it is that it's okay to leave a situation because you have a gut feeling that you simply want more, deserve more. I'm leaving a situation because it's bad.
Right. Yeah.
I'm leaving a situation because it's good.
Yeah.
But I want great.
Yeah. Well, I always circle back to Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Yeah.
Like,
Great.
One of her things is imagine the most true and beautiful life that you could ever imagine. And if you're not living it, burn it all to the ground until you're living that most true and beautiful life for yourself.
I love that too. Ooh, Devin likes that too.
Oh, Devin likes that too.
Oh,
okay.
Devin, we're going to get you the book.
Yes, we are going to get you the book.
I've read it through like
Do
twice.
it.
I'm on my third.
Yeah, I have too many underlines. So
Yeah.
I can't have mine.
I can't wait to get Untamed in my Kindle library.
Yeah, you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
She does. If you want to listen to it on Audible, she reads it out loud very well.
Mm-hmm. She has a great podcast as well, which I listen to sometimes. Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Plug our shit.
Podcast to podcast.
The other thing I will say about Kels is that, and I know that Nicole will agree with this, is that as long as we've known her, which is
a nice long time.
a nice long time, and she is who she is, and she is who she says she is. A lot of athletes are not. We were kind of discussing that on the last podcast. Kels is one of the most genuine, sweet, kind people, not outside of being a fucking amazing athlete that she is. Just her person and her human and who she is.
Making me tear up.
But it's true. It's true.
Is one of the most genuine, kind people, and anyone that she meets or like her fans that come up to her, you'll know that right away. Because I've seen her interact at the games. I've seen her interact at so many Wadapaloozas, and she doesn't have a mean bone in her body that she would want to offend or hurt anybody. So I do just want to say that us knowing her, have the privilege of knowing who she is, like as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So
I said yesterday when we were talking to a customer about you,
we love you.
That I don't know why anyone would say anything bad, because I actually haven't heard anything bad.
Yeah.
But if you do,
but we all know, everyone, when you're on a platform, you have haters. No
of
matter
course,
what.
yeah. And I said we would defend you to the end, because we know who you really are. Yeah, of course, you're welcome. And it's so nice to be able to know that. But for people who are out there who are listening to this or watching this who haven't met Kels, just know that what you see is what you get.
Absolutely.
This is her.
Yeah,
This is her. This is Kels. So,
I cry a lot.
Yeah.
People might not know about me.
Yeah.
Actually, there are incredible health benefits to crying. I'm not sure if you know that, but it's a true cleanse.
Oh man.
There are.
Yeah.
And I'm reading all about this right now.
My mom always says it's just how the energy moves through you.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
We cry a lot. I cry a lot. We went through our crying season. We've been through a lot of crying seasons.
Crying season was rainy.
It was rainy crying season. Anyways.
It's funny. I'll just plug a little thing about crying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there's I forget. I should text my mom and ask. But there's this woman who had a stroke, and she's a doctor, and she wrote a book about her coming back from the stroke that she had, and she has this whole thing on crying and all that. And she said she could see that if you just let yourself cry for 60 to 90 seconds, you're usually good after that. But it's once we start creating the stories in our heads about why we're crying, and I'm stupid for this, and I'm wrong for this, blah blah blah. Then that's when it drags out all day or however long. And so my mom is the queen of I just need my 60 seconds. She'll just sob it out. She's like, okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah,
It's good.
It's actually really interesting.
And I know, and not that I'm not trying to categorize all men, but I think that many men avoid crying for whatever reason, because it looks like they're less.
I think that's changing,
strong.
though. Would you agree that that's changing with men? I think more men are more open to showing emotion.
Right.
That's where I was going with
Yeah.
that. I hope that that's the case, and I hope that the men listening to this are, that resonates in some way. It's just energy. And there's science and data to back it up.
That's right. For all you scientists out there. For all you 5 Enneagrams.
Oh, right. Which is also not you, Devin. I think you're.
Yeah, I don't think he's a 5.
I think he's a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, you're definitely not a 5. Anyways.
Don't worry, we'll take
We'll
the
test.
test. We'll take the
Amazing.
test.
My curiosity is palpable.
Yeah. Don't you worry.
Speaking of curiosity, many of you have been asking.
Everyone's been asking
about Kels and her dating life, and I have a top level question.
Okay.
Do you like to make the first move, or do you like when they make the first move, or is it situation dependent?
I think typically I like when the other person makes the first move, but a little bit situation dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Good to know. We're gonna let Kels expand on her dating life. And yes, we've said before, anytime anyone comes on the cast, we don't just surprise them with random questions. We like to say what is off topic, what do you want to discuss, and so don't worry, people, we're not catching her off guard.
Dare you?
She's leaving now.
Quick exit.
Yeah, so we'll let you talk about, because everyone is curious. Everyone does come in, the people who know that we're friends. Oh, is she single? Oh, could I shoot my shot? Oh, like it's never ending with Kels. So we'll let Kels speak for Kels.
Yes, because we're not her dating manager.
We are not.
FYI.
They should be.
Maybe. We could be.
I don't know if we have enough time in the day, but we could try.
For real.
We could try to do that for you.
Everybody thinks you're the hottest shit on the planet, and you are, for all reasons. But we'll let you expound on whatever you want to expound on.
I don't know. Where should I go with this? Dating is hard because for many reasons, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a little bit selfish right now in my life with if someone's like, hey, you want to go grab a drink? I'm like, no. Let's go for coffee maybe, or something midday. Love that. But
do you want to work out with me? I'll be at this gym. Would be the
not
best.
even
yeah, or just between my training sessions.
Right. I was gonna say, I don't think she wants anyone working out with her.
I just want to get my shit done on either side,
So it leaves you with 30 minutes extra.
Yeah,
per week to do that.
So that's kind of hard because I feel like there are definitely the people out there who understand what I do and understand the commitment that it takes for that. But then there's also the people that just don't get it.
Sure.
I've tried the dating app thing, and that's tough.
I have watched all of my friends do the dating app thing, and no thank you.
Yeah.
Scariest place on earth.
It really is. It's wild out there.
And then the redundancy, you see one person on this app, and you see them on another app. You're like, what? But
My theory, as a male who was once single, there's a reason that's where the scraps kind of ended up.
Well, that's what I mean. You get on a dating app. For me, a dating app is okay, I'm not going to go out and meet someone at a bar.
It starts off as convenience.
It's a convenience factor. And then I'm like, okay, but why are you on the dating app?
Right.
But why am I on the dating app?
What am I doing
Are
here?
they crazy or am I crazy?
Yeah.
Maybe we're both crazy.
Yeah.
Who's the loser?
Who is the loser? Am I the loser?
That I took pride.
Yeah.
But it's true. It creates this a narrative, and then the negative self-talk.
Oh my gosh.
That enters through really any social media platform or any app is kind of scary.
Because let's also be real, Instagram also could be a dating app.
Right.
I'm sure,
for
especially
her
for you.
It has been.
Yeah.
Yes. All the DMs.
All the
DMs.
Her DMs, we could spend a whole podcast.
You know what?
On Kels Kiel's
Episode 2 with Kels Kiel is going to be.
Yes.
We're reading her DMs. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, but
that would be a funny bit of Kels just reading her DMs.
That's what we're doing. Make a note of that. When she comes, as I'm pointing, I realize I still have my water.
I was about to say 3-day pass.
So there's that. FYI, we are recording this on the Monday after Wodapalooza.
Yes.
Where Kels was competing in the Miami sun, looking like the smoke show that she is.
Always smoke show.
Always. Did you have fun this weekend?
I did.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Good.
Yeah, it was fun. I feel like Wodapalooza is always fun. It's just, I am hyper competitive. So I get out there and I'm and then I'm Kelsey, just enjoy it. Just have fun this weekend. And it's always kind of a good lead in to the open, getting back into kind of that competitive mindset. So it was fun. It's good. Always fun to see people too down here.
Oh, it's so good. It's she calls it. Don't you call it spring break for fitters? High school reunion.
High school reunion.
High school reunion.
It's the reunion for everybody. Yeah, it's great.
See everyone. And,
do you feel not pressure with I'm sure some pressure because of your platform and how many followers you have and new followers that you pick up all the time? Do you feel pressure to perform in a certain way. I'm not talking about fitness. I'm talking about like on a personal level. Feel like you have to perform for Instagram because you're a sensitive person and you take things personally. Do you feel like there's things that obviously you keep your private life private, as like dating, etc. You don't really put any of that on the gram, which is totally understandable. But pressure to perform in a different way outside of fitness because of who you are.
Like before we talk about Lollapalooza, like while I'm down here and like seeing people.
Just in general.
Just
Sorry.
in general.
Oh, okay. Just in general. Sorry.
Well, we just went like this.
Yeah, we went like
Okay,
hard.
cool,
I
cool.
made the hard turn. I didn't tell you I was turning on the blinker. I'm
You didn't
sorry.
turn the blinker on.
I didn't turn the blinker
Okay,
on. I turned the blinker on. I'm sorry. That just was going through my head.
Well, also because we know you
Yes.
as more of an introvert than I think the public knows you.
Yeah.
as.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's actually something that the past like couple months I've been realizing a little bit because I feel like on my social media I'm very honest about who I am.
You are.
And I like to act extroverted. I like to be bubbly and that's who I am that way. But I am also very I'm very shy. Going into like a restaurant, if I have to find people in the restaurant walking in there by myself is like my nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like little things like that. Like I have to like mentally prepare myself to like extrovert. And I think it's, I actually kind of went through this not too long ago that when people get to know me just through my Instagram and then they meet me in person, they almost made me think that I'm like being rude or that something's like wrong when
Because
I kind
you're
of
quieter?
retreat. Yeah.
Okay.
But like if I am in a super social situation and I don't know a lot of people, I'm going to be pretty quiet.
Right.
And like, that's just, I don't know. I'm even realizing that more as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
I'm more that way. But even just like, I'll give the example of at my gym in Philly, Open Box, there was like a Halloween party. And I don't coach at Open Box. I feel like I know the community and they've supported us going to like with the team thing and everything like that. And I know they know who I am and I've seen all their faces. But now it's not like we're working out. We're having like a Halloween gym party. And I'm in there and I'm just like...
Shrinking into the wall.
Just like, I'm going to sit over here and like just kind of smile because like I'm not just super comfortable just like kind of going up to people and just talking with them. And even though I like know that they are great people, like all of that. So it's interesting that I've more recently found that people are kind of like, oh wow, you are like a little more reserved, or I say I'm an introvert and they're like, no, you're not. Actually.
They have different levels of it. I think, in my opinion, that I think that's called that you are an extroverted introvert.
Absolutely.
I am as well.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Need that recharge time. Need that like sit on my couch with Oliver by myself, not talking to anyone time.
Right.
Like,
especially I think after coming off of a weekend like this, there's so much stimulus, and you can tell this is good for my voice. Because Saturday I was like, I might not have it tomorrow. Yeah, just because of so much talking.
Yeah.
I think that I am an extroverted extrovert.
I think you are. I think you're.
But I do really like my silence at home alone. I value alone time. And I think that you also can recharge and you create your power that way so that you can go out into the world and do the things that you need to do, including training. You know, and I've watched Kels train, and your gym's really good about giving you the space that you need to do what you do. Because it's required and you can't really afford interruptions. Because, you know, someone might think, oh, it's just 5 minutes, but if that happens 5 times in a training session, that's 25 minutes, and now like you're what are you doing? So I think that
and I do think that a big part that I'm kind of like just working through in my life is like I tend to get overwhelmed really easily. So even if it's like just my own personal life stuff, but it's on my mind, that's also when I tend to like retreat a little bit. So it's just interesting, like in some of my interactions with people who have just met me,
Sure.
or just met me in person,
Yeah.
but only know me through Instagram. They're like, I don't know if they like.
Well, I think that's
I
the
don't know.
I don't want to say downside, but like someone of your, stature on Instagram, people just assume, I even have to check myself, knowing the ins and outs of Instagram, that, okay, this person might not be like this, and not that it's not who you are, but you're not on all the time.
Right.
People, even when people meet me, sometimes they'll be like, oh, you're quiet, you're not, like, I'm going to be jumping around and shaking my ass 24/7. No, I mean 23/7.
23/7.
23 We got it.
23/6.
This from the girl who just put single dollar bills into Carla's thong
fine.
Love that.
while we were online for coffee the other day.
Right.
You know.
However, you're on a way bigger platform, so people have that, oh, we know who she is. She's definitely an extrovert. She's definitely bubbly all the time. And so I think that's hard when people meet you in real life and then you're like, no, I am a really kind person. I'm just quiet and I'm not yelling.
Or
I'm crying in the corner, or I'm just quiet because but
or
whatever.
I'm currently tired.
Yeah. Or
Because-
tired as hell.
Because I'm on hour 11 and it's time for food and a nap. So you're allowed to have that too. How are you with boundaries these days? Talk to us about that.
Just journal
And
a little bit
mental
about
health.
this morning.
Boundaries, and how do you keep your mental health well?
Therapy was great. I have gotten so much better at holding boundaries. I tend to need a little reminder because
From yourself?
from myself or my mom or my friends. Like, it was so funny because this is so silly, but when people come up, I was thinking about the meet and greets that I did at Wadapalooza, and when people come up to me and say, like, can I take a picture? I'm like, obviously, like, yes, 100% take a picture. When someone's like, hey, can you say this in the camera to this person? I'm like, I would rather gouge my eyes out. And I don't know why.
The pressure.
It's like I have crippling stage fright for one thing. Like, if someone in college and stuff, and I had to like make presentations, I would shake and like almost throw up before every single one.
I would have the boobs.
Oh yeah, I'd like just shaky. I'd be dripping sweat. Like, yeah.
But yeah, you can
Sorry,
perform.
Ashley, don't
Yeah.
say hello.
But you
Ashley
can
just
perform.
asked for a photo.
Yeah, just a photo.
Just a photo. We're good.
You can perform in front of thousands and
Well,
with no
so
problem. Yeah.
I remember
So they
in
just
high
assume.
school, my soccer coach was also in charge of the school play. And he's like, you have to come do this school play. I would rather do anything else in the entire world than get on stage and be in a play.
Yeah.
But he's like, you play soccer in front of all these fans. I'm like, it's different. For whatever reason, for me, it's different. But I was talking about that to a friend, and they were like, well, why don't you just hold that boundary? Like, no, I take pictures. I don't do the video thing. And I was like,
Oh.
You can say
oh,
no.
I can do that.
You are allowed. You are allowed.
Where I'm like, the people please are like, oh yeah,
Yes.
I don't want to do this.
But I'm
I'd
gonna
rather
do it.
start crying in the corner.
Yeah.
So
But sure, I'll say hello to whoever.
then this makes me so grateful for Kels for the 2019 commercial that you shot for Chesty. You poor thing, you must
Pooping
have been.
myself. Yeah.
Devin, I gave her a script. She had to talk to the camera while walking. She did, and you did that.
She
Remember
did
that
it.
picture
I
of
would've
me on
never
the
known.
boxes? I was like,
were you so nervous? Oh no.
oh yeah.
Thank you for doing that. I will never ask you to do that again.
Ever.
Ever. You heard it here.
This shit's hard.
This
This
shit is
shit's
hard.
Yeah. You know.
Please
Thank
don't
you for
ask Kels to
doing
talk into
that.
the camera.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You just now found that out?
Learn something
Here we
new
are.
all the
Here we are. Here
time.
we are, 2023. That was a shoot that we did in August 2019.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
So,
funny.
so there's that.
I felt. I just hit the thing.
You're good.
I felt honored that you asked me to do that. So I was like, obviously, I'm gonna go do that. But
Oh my gosh.
I was like on the boxes reading my script, like.
I was like, wow, she's focused.
Yeah. No, she was about
Trying
to
not
have a
to
mental
cry.
breakdown.
Yeah, she's fighting vomit back.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's hilarious.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's,
yeah.
I was just me listening in the background here.
Sure.
It's an interesting time, like with social media, where like you do portray as bubbly and energetic and excited, but like personally you're not. But that doesn't mean, none of those things mean that you're this type of person.
No, yeah.
You know, like you are a nice, genuine person
Yeah.
from what I can gather. You know?
Yes.
But I don't want to talk to you, but I do want to talk to you.
Right.
Because of social media, and this is what has to happen.
Yeah. But like, I also feel like I don't know, like the stuff that I do put on my social media, I back it 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like when someone puts me on the spot and they ask
It's
me to,
different.
like, I'm like, can you hold up a cue card of like what I'm meant to
Right.
read here
Yeah.
so I can just read it to
Right.
the camera or something like that? Like, I don't know. There's so many layers.
Perform-
There are so many layers of expectations.
Well, people expect you to perform on the spot.
Right.
Even
Performing is different than interacting.
it's totally different.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
totally
yeah.
different. People want you to perform. They think you're, oh, she's this way, so she'll do it.
Right.
On a way less scale, people have done
The
that to me
number
before.
of times I have to redo a video when I'm like this.
Same.
Like,
Same.
oh, I just messed up.
Perform. People are used to watching you perform at such a high
level.
They expect you to interact at the same level.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good.
You know?
That's a great point.
That's a great
And she's
analogy.
like, no, this isn't
Right.
like a barbell that was set in front of me or, ring
Well, a lot of
muscle
people don't
ups.
understand the effort that went into performing at that level. I don't have a lot left to interact at that kind of level.
Yeah.
You go home and eat a burger.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you brought that up because obviously Kels' sport is CrossFit. It's not technically considered a professional sport, although you train exactly like a professional athlete.
Absolutely.
But in the other professional sports, they offer all the teams, the team players, support. They offer them media training. I mean, every single NFL player who is going to be interviewed at some point, they are sitting with a publicist, they're
Yeah.
sitting with an agent, and they go through mock interviews.
Oh, yeah.
They know exactly what to expect. They have their spiel prepared. And the other thing that's different about Kels' sport is that when you play basketball, you play basketball every game. Obviously, the outcome is different,
Right.
but the sport is the same. She could go from a barbell workout to a swim workout to this, and so she doesn't know what people are going to ask her, and she can't prepare like just one message. And so that makes it hard too.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of, this shit's hard.
A lot of moving pieces.
Back to that.
Back to that,
back to that.
yeah.
A lot of
But
moving pieces.
do you love this sport?
I do. I feel like that, coming back to it, taking that time off when I did bobsled. So I was in Boston and I knew I needed to get the heck out of Boston. And I thought I was going to move to Vegas and keep doing the fits. But I had the opportunity to do the bobsled thing. And I took it just because I didn't want to look back and be like,
What if?
well, watch the Olympics and be like, what if that could have been me? And I wanted to try and I didn't make the team, which it is what it is. And came back to live in Philly and just walked into Open Box because I liked the gym. I'd done a photo shoot there and I was like, this is a nice place. And started just CrossFitting a little bit again and talked with Joey, my teammate at the gym. And as I started getting back into it, I was just having more fun than ever before. And like, I thought I was having fun before and I thought I was doing it for myself before, but there was an underlying layer of not doing it for myself. And not actually having that much fun. Like there was a lot of fun had, but I feel like I've never been so like doing it for like true to myself, enjoying it, loving it. And obviously like there are training sessions and days or weeks that suck and I fail but that's the fun part for me is I tried a sport that was very results driven. I mean, you're looking at like hundreds of seconds difference between
that's so
different
crazy to me.
And obviously they're going to be results driven. They have to win medals. Like that's how they get money to fund all these, like that's what it is, which is fine. And some people thrive in that. And I come back to CrossFit and I'm not going into the gym in the morning to run my 400 repeats because I'm like, I'm going to beat Tia. Like, that's not what it is. It's
Right.
like, I'm going to be a couple seconds faster than my splits last week. And I feel like there's so much joy in the process for me. Whereas like when I'm just like comparing push times, it was really hard for me to like feel like I was getting anything out of it.
Sure.
And I witnessed that this weekend when you came out of an event and you literally said, well, I guess we're adding this to our work for next week. And you said you messaged your coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, hey, add that to the list.
Add it to the list. Put it on the list.
Yeah, which is just like, it's cool because I love this sport because you're never like there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which maybe would drive some people bananas.
Right.
Never there.
You're never there.
You're just never gonna be. I mean, maybe one day. Like, I guess maybe Tia is there, but like
She still has.
she's
faults.
still like all the things she wants to be better at.
Right.
Like that's the cool. I love that part of it, and it keeps me like hungry for sure.
It's so nice to see you doing a sport that you love.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
And
It's
happy.
awesome.
yeah.
And she has her eggs frozen for later.
Yep.
Can't
ice.
on those bad
On
boys.
ice. Has them on ice.
They're just frozen over there.
Right.
Just waiting for maybe, if one day, maybe not.
Waiting for the right person to slide in those DMs.
Well,
We're
please
ready.
don't say that. Do not slide in Kel's DM. She doesn't need anything in her DM.
I cannot
Okay, but
wait
wait.
for the DM episode.
Okay,
That
wait.
is going to be funny. But I will say, my followers, whoever's listening, are honestly amazing. Because I've heard horror stories from like CrossFit athletes that get
I could definitely see
inappropriate comments, hate comments,
Yeah.
pictures,
Yep.
and like 9.5 times out of 10 when I have a blurred picture, I'll like click it and it's a picture of a Frenchie. Like I'm like, let's go. Keep sending me the pictures
Sigh
of the
of
dogs
relief.
because I love that.
But that
Like,
says everything about you, though. I also believe that the energy that you put out is what you're going to get back. So, you know, not to say that those other CrossFit athletes, whatever, that's not to say that, but also that says a lot about who you are as a person and that you don't project that energy like, please send me a dick pic.
Yeah.
You know, that's not your energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, there's going to be those that shoot their shot and ask for smelly socks.
Yeah.
And
That'll be $1,000.
that's a thing. That is a thing, Devin. Yeah. Yeah. That is her DM.
Not even joking.
Not joking.
It was Wadapalooza 3 years ago.
The socks.
The socks. Sweaty socks.
I'm like, let's send them.
I was like, let's see what
Feet
happens.
are gross, for starters.
Sweaty
Feet
socks.
are-
Sweaty
socks.
I'm pissed as a filmmaker that I missed the 2020 OnlyFans feet boom
Right.
industry. I didn't get any money off that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Anyways, so it says a lot about you.
We digress.
We digress.
I
Says
mean,
a lot
they
about
stuck
you.
with me through like a change of sport. Like,
Right.
Yes.
the bobsled thing was so cool and amazing, but it was also like I felt like I was disappearing off of social media because
Sure.
I didn't have. It wasn't the
same content.
Like, I'm just like running some sprints, guys. Like,
But people are
but,
interested
like,
to see where it would go.
Yeah, it was
True.
I just like, I don't know, a good core of people that like, I say it every time. Like, if I could just like inspire someone to like, I don't know, do anything.
But
like,
not
whatever
if
it
you
is,
do.
like,
But it's not an if.
Yeah.
You do inspire.
Yes, you do.
You absolutely do.
yeah.
It's evidenced by the fact that people will wait in line to
Yes.
say hello to you,
Yeah.
to thank you for being a motivating factor in their training.
Mhm.
They'll wait to buy something that you really like.
Yeah.
And that is genuine. And, you know, Devin was asking you earlier, what sponsors do you have and do you really like them?
Yeah.
The answer is
Yeah.
I work with people or brands that I really, truly use.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate, from my perspective, that you also do use your platform for what to speak on issues that are hard that not necessarily other athletes want to touch.
Yeah.
Because
right, that are not going to make you any more popular.
right, that are not going to make you any more popular, that people don't want to talk about, you know, like whether it be political. We know that you don't deep dive into it, but you will post what you believe in. And I think that's very important. Whether you piss someone off or not, who cares?
Yeah.
You're going to say what you believe. And I think that in today's society, that's far and few between when you have athletes and or just influencers of your caliber who don't want to lose followers. So they say absolutely nothing. And I think it's a very hard thing for you to do, but you do it. And I definitely appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
It is, and for knowing who you are, it would be easier to stay silent.
It would be the easy route.
It would be, but she spoke, and this shit's hard.
Yep.
It is. It's really hard, but you speak about it, and I think what Jen is saying is thank you.
Thank you, and it's valued.
Yes.
And you're definitely seen, and you're definitely heard.
Mm-hmm. But also, you make other people feel seen because they'll read about it. It'll resonate with them. You know, that's what we're trying to do with this podcast in general is to help people tell their story so that, you know, you might hear something and like decide to be brave. Yeah. Decide to leave a relationship that is, it's good.
Yeah.
But could it be great?
Yeah.
You know, decide to
freeze your eggs.
That.
I feel like in so many ways, I mean, I've just been in a lot of situations. Like I was the kind of athletic but like overweight girl for a while there, and like I've had things in my life where like I've had zero control over like a trauma or whatever, and I feel like there are times in your life when you can take control of your life, and like you said, being brave enough to do that. FaceTime video.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just deep breaths, okay? Breath is very important for...
Thank God for editing.
Yep.
It's gonna have to edit this.
It's gonna be fine.
Chair. I'm so sorry.
We're fine. We're doing a great job, everybody. We're doing a great job. How are you doing?
I'm great.
This is so good. We love to kind of like wrap up with some rapid fire questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing too hard.
Nothing too hard, just getting to know you. One of the questions we always ask is about coffee, but we already know Kels is a big coffee drinker.
Love coffee. Love it.
Rumble doesn't love this question, but Devin and I are just very inquisitive about the toilet paper situation. Do you hang it over? Yes.
That's the only way to do it.
See, people are very specific, Rumble. They are.
I don't care.
Okay.
I feel like there's more important things to do and think about.
The under means you're serial killer, I think.
Yeah, see?
But why?
Oh,
We're best
because
friends.
you guys are besties. Ashley,
Why?
Devin, and Kels are now
Why?
besties.
If it's underneath, why? Like, why is it so serious?
It's just so hard to get to. It doesn't make
not
sense.
if it's hanging.
But then
It's
how
just
are you ripping it off?
Like this. What do you mean? How are you ripping it off?
You're wrong.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll take the L.
Just kidding.
I'll take the L.
She's gonna take the L.
I didn't know this was such a sensitive topic.
Google it.
We.
No, thank you.
There are forums.
Yeah.
There are chat forums about
There are
it.
chat forums. I think for the next batch of interviews, I'm gonna let Jen pick her own question to kind of counterbalance.
Counter the toilet paper
Yeah,
one.
to counter the
That's fair.
toilet paper one.
There has been only one person on this podcast that's like, I don't care. And I'm like, thank you.
Everyone else is serious.
Yes.
Was it Renato?
No, it was,
So that's why it's a mediocre. No, I'm just kidding.
no. It was, oh God, don't do this to me with this.
Sorry, we'll get back to that.
He was tattooed.
Full disclosure, I love you,
Was it-
Ronaldo. I was just kidding.
Was it Alex?
Period.
Alex. It was Alex.
Okay, Alex. All right.
Black sheep training.
Yes.
He didn't care. Black sheep
Oh,
training, yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Anyways.
anywho,
We
so now we
digress
get to
again.
the point where we just say a phrase and you say back one or two words.
Look at her getting nervous already.
It's okay. You just
They're not hard questions.
You just give us the first thing that comes to
your
mind.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't win any prizes here. So
We
it's
we love you either way.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to do the first one? Want me to do the first one?
Sure. Festivals.
What's the first thing that comes
Comes
to
to your
mind
mind.
when you think of
Oh.
festivals?
Glitter.
Okay.
Ooh, we
like it.
Yeah, we like that. Sunglasses at night.
Shady.
Oh. You like that.
International travel.
Love it.
We already knew that.
Come on.
We knew that. Some people say no.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's when we're like, what?
Serial killer.
Serial killer.
Excuse us.
Excuse us?
Wow. See myself out.
Yeah.
John Woolley doesn't even have a passport.
Wow.
That's what we said.
Yeah. However, he is
He's
going to
getting
get
one.
one so he can potentially take his person that he hasn't met yet on trips.
Oh,
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. He's committed. He's gonna start. He's gonna do the dating thing, and he's gonna do the traveling thing in 2023.
Cool. I'm for that.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was really it. You did great.
Cool.
You think that's it?
I didn't even start really sweating that.
Okay,
good.
good. It's not hard. It's not hard. Yeah, we don't want to freak you out too much. We don't want to throw you into anxiety after Wadapalooza.
No,
You're coming off the weekend. We need to.
We've already had
down.
enough energy.
Yes.
Expenditure.
We've cried. We've laughed.
We've done it.
We've laughed and cried.
We've done it.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, we love that we all got matching tattoos when we were internationally traveling.
True.
Okay, so where is it? Ooh. Here we go.
Yeah.
There is the Bali moon, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. And she did the hard thing because it was 4 of us. It was us and Holly.
That was a tough night.
It was a very tough night because it took a very long time and we were malnourished and very tired because we all go to bed at 8 p.m.
So hungry.
We were so hungry and tired. So
And this girl was taking like breaks in between.
Uh-huh.
It was so odd.
yeah,
Anyways.
it was interesting. But we wanted to thank you for
Yes.
that. It's a constant
Thank
reminder
you for Bali.
that you can do hard things.
Yes,
Yes.
we can do hard things.
And Jen and I just wanted to thank you for being on our podcast. This is
Especially
so
after Wadapalooza weekend. And we know how much energy you give to the people. So we love you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.